Welcome back. I know it's been a while, but, life gets busy and that's okay. I found this sweet cigar box that apparently I didn't know I couldn't resist buying them whenever I found them in a thrift shop. Especially when they're like $2. But this box is not going to be the subject of our video. But these guys are going to turn into ring blanks. So here's a preview of sort of what they'll look like. A couple finished rings along with their counterparts. First one I think is mahogany. That one's definitely black walnut. I don't know, but it looks creamy, which should not sound that gross. I'm so sorry. And this one's rosewood. Rosewood with a brass inlay, and I only have one piece prepared, but it kind of wants to explode, so there's only one. You may have noticed that almost all of these are ingrain, and with a soft hammer and a real chisel, why would it be real, Adrian? You can split it down the grain, and instead of turning a pile of very precious wood into dust, you can turn it into chips, and who knows what those chips could be used for. There's dozens of videos of people reusing scraps, and I like keeping scraps because I have no room for them, and I'm an idiot. I think they'll go to someone who makes jewelry, if I'm not mistaken. But this is also to spare time for the lathe to have to spin awkward objects, and if it's relatively round, it's a lot happier when you start really getting going. If you don't mind, we're going to go in Mach speed. Yeah. I don't do this stuff as regularly as I might like to. I'm not going to release videos as regularly as I might like to either. But that's also because this is a hobby, not a job. This has not paid me a cent. And that's okay. Because honestly, this is fun. I get to learn editing. I get to learn new skills, and somebody out there can get some value in that, which make me feel pretty good. Yeah, my desk setup is getting real tight. But on the other hand, at some point next year, I should be getting into a house if everything goes even mildly according to plan, and I should have more room, a little more time, and yeah, it should be fun. Yeah, that rosewood is full of checking and cracks. So I'm surprised it got this far. Also, you'll notice that they all look like they're got a plasticky side. I soaked all of them in I put super glue on each side of all of them, just for stability. Those are rosewood and no, that's Purple Heart and a piece of plastic. Those are not ingrain. And if I tried to split them, it would end terribly. So I have to put those squares onto lathe and turn them down into something that looks a lot more like that, but chunkier. And now, I don't know if you wanted 10 straight minutes of lathing, but you're going to get about 10 straight minutes of lathing. Boy ho fucking howdy, I know I do. Anyway. Excuse me, I seem to have had a swear word in my throat. So just coming off to the holidays, everything's fine, nice relaxing couple days, and just to completely distract myself from what I'm doing in the video, what I'm doing here is I'm turning it down by hand, and that nice tool block rest, or quick change tool thing that comes with the lathe is perfect at blocking absolutely every angle that I could be shooting this from. So I feel great about that. But also, turning it down by hand is a little to a lot faster than turning it down by just using the precision lathe functions. But it is... I'm still new at it, so I'm learning what I should and shouldn't do. I'm learning that things will catch if you're not careful. And even if you're careful, it's still faster. It's faster to get it roughly round like this than it is to try to do the whole thing with the automatic feed. I don't know the right words for a lot of this. I'm pretty sure that that's okay, because what I'm doing is I'm turning the turny thing with the sharp thing, which actually has a word. See, this is precise as hell. Much more precise than doing it by hand for my money. But it's much slower for this stage in the process, so the least amount of this I can do as possible, it's for the greater good. But the hand tools that I'm using are carbide bits that I mounted onto a piece of, a piece of mild steel. Just drilled a hole, tapped a hole, made a hole into a piece of wood, and now that's what I'm using to turn. Which is pretty neat. It's the first time I've made tools that aren't knives that have succeeded in any capacity, so I'm very excited about that. And while my hand lathing has some things to be desired, man, it's fun, and it's really satisfying, and it's absolutely terrifying. Anything that spins is terrifying. I've said it before, probably, and I'll say it again a lot. There's a lot of respect, and if I had a little bit more room, I'm pretty sure I'd be more safe. I also need to make a proper tool rest. Right now I'm using the boring bar as my tool rest. So, you know, there's some things that could be better. Ooh, if I make that, then I'll have two tools that I made that were successful that were not knives. Oh, so about the wood I'm using. There's dogwood, black walnut, rosewood, cedar. The cedar's gorgeous. And I think it came from a friend's backyard or a thrift shop. I have two supplies of cedar right now, and while I've exhausted both of them, I'm turning a lot of them into either knife blanks or, knife handles or wood rings. And the wood rings are winning because they take a lot less space. This dogwood from North Carolina is hard as hell. Like, it makes me feel really good. Like, any defect in this is not going to matter because it's so freaking strong. Defect as in wormholes. I saw a wormhole in one of them. Might be that one that I just saw right there. Yeah, and when it comes to turning down these square objects, I'm not even going to pretend to do that by hand. I feel much more comfortable going slow and steady on this. And it works. For my money, it works. Purple Heart is also hard, but I don't know how to describe it. Maybe it's waxy? It's not waxy. Purple Heart has a particular texture. It's a hard wood, and that's the most that I know about it. And that it oxidizes purple. See? Turns like a champ. Even if it has natural tendencies. Now the plastic. I've never turned down plastic before. This was interesting. It smelled like plastic. Always wear breathing protection. No amount of your ego that will replace your lungs put on your breathers. And at some point I pull out a vacuum so that all of this shit doesn't just go everywhere. A lot of the people that I see turning plastics or resins, it comes off in ribbons. I don't know if that happened, but it certainly did not mind being turned fairly aggressively. There's the vacuum. I'm also pretty sure that this isn't the greatest thing in the world for my metal lathe, but it's from Harbor Freight, so I'm not entirely sure how good metal is from a metal lathe. I know that when I move, I'll take the thing apart and clean it. Don't know why, just a hunch. Like magic, the box reveals the exact same number of ring blanks that we started with, but now they're roundish. And as you can hear, this is not the best ASMR channel in the world. One of the next steps, though, now that they're relatively round, I'm going to make each side relatively flat and much more round. And from everything that I've learned, pretty much everything is relative. Like, flat is only as flat as it can be, round is only as round as it can be, given your tooling, but it's also wood, and it is not a part that's going into a machine, so for me, it's perfect. I've also, I think I should have known this from the get-go, but higher speeds tend to be nicer with wood, and I really like hanging on this shot that blocks all of the action. So you just get to see the results. You know what I'm saying? I knew what I was saying. My phone is dangling surprisingly close to all of this. This is also the last video that I'll be filming exclusively on my phone, as I have an actual camera that I bought specifically to keep doing videos. I don't want to stop doing videos, I just don't have much time. And when I'm dreaming the impossible dream of owning a house, I'm going to make sure it has room for a forge. I have some space to be picky. I'm gonna have a forge. I'm gonna have my tool room, some crafting areas, an art room. Big old nerd right here, and I'm really excited about that. Yeah, whatever that creamy wood is, it comes up, man. It's nice. This is a really thick blank. And I'm taking off really big bites from this face, and that, as you can still see by the green, that dogwood is no joke. So yeah, like flattening one face, and then hidden from camera, I'm flattening the other one, sort of. But I have to be careful not to run into the ring mandrel, which I kind of did a few times. But it's all a manual affair at this point. I don't have a... there's no manual crossfeed. Or, sorry, no automatic crossfeed. It's only manual, which is fine. All I have to do is sacrifice what what's the word? With your wristitis? I forgot the word. I really hope you tuned in for some nice, relaxing, completely silent lathing, because that's exactly what you got, except for the entire time. The rosewood is really cool, and it's all the shavings from it are really soft. And black walnut has some really pretty tiger's eye grain too. They all do, but black walnut is a really nice wood. And my phone runs out of memory right about now. There we go. That was not an intentional cut. It's just convenient. So, now that you've sat through all that and you get to see the results, these guys are ready to turn into rings, which I will be doing for Christmas gifts and some other stuff. I'll record at least one, just because, you know, fun. There's good gifts in there. You can see that one piece of dogwood has a hole through it. The plastic turned like a champ. And I've also lightly sanded down the faces, so they all look like they're real fuzzy. But yeah, thanks for watching. Bye!